In a 2013 study, licensed clinical psychologist Bill Naus shows it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. While your content is important, how you say it is half of the message. Hi, I'm Grace Freund, and I'm here to tell you about how to make your presentation stronger and more memorable, specifically by sounding better. I'm going to touch on 3 different points on how you can sound better during your presentation. The first one being projecting your voice, the second being the importance of inflecting your voice, and the third being avoiding filler words at all costs. Projecting your voice can add many positive aspects to your presentation. By projecting your voice, you can keep your audience more interested. Projecting your voice shows your audience that you are passionate about a certain topic, and can also make it seem like you really know what you're talking about, even if you might not know. Volume and the ability to control it can greatly enhance the impression others have of your confidence, and confidence is key in a presentation. While it is important to actually know your stuff, if you don't seem confident in your stuff, why should anyone believe you? As Mark Twain has said, all you need in this life is ignorance and confidence, and then success is sure. So, you know the benefits of projecting your voice. Now, how does one do it, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. One important step in projecting your voice is breathing effectively. It is important to space out your breathing to make sure you have enough breath to actually make your voice loud and heard. Also, stand up straight. It helps you breathe better. Another tip on controlling your voice is controlling your speed. A lot of presenters will speed up their presentation way too fast, which is an easy way to mumble and not project your voice. One last tip on projecting is a pretty obvious one. Practice, practice, and more practice. You can practice projecting your voice all the time. All you need to do is read something aloud in a clear, loud, and confident voice. Another way to sound better in your presentation is to use voice inflection to your advantage. Inflection means modulation of the voice in speaking or singing, or a change in the pitch or tone of the voice. Using voice inflection is a great way to get your point across because you can use the power of your voice to emphasize things you want to be more important in your presentation, and it is more interesting to pay attention to. Not using any voice inflection can not only make you sound like a robot, but it will not keep your audience interested. No one wants to hear someone talk like this. It's simply boring. The last thing you want is to be boring when presenting because you want to get your point across, and your audience won't listen if you aren't interesting. Just like with projecting your voice, breathing is vital to using voice inflection. It is important to breathe evenly to make sure you can actually emphasize certain aspects of your presentation with your voice. Again, just like with projection, practice is pivotal in your use of voice inflection. If you can plan it out where you want to inflect your voice in your presentation and then practice it, it will help you to use your voice effectively. One last tip in sounding better in your presentation is to avoid filler words at all costs. So yeah, filler words are like totally unnecessary and like quite simply make you sound like uninformed or uneducated in your topic. Some common filler words you might hear or just heard from me are like, so yeah, and you know. One of the weakest ways to start a presentation is by saying, so yeah, and then jumping into your presentation. Don't do that. It's not a strong way to start. This has always been one of the most difficult things for me in my presenting career. I usually use words like, or It was to the point where it was so habitual that I didn't even realize it anymore. Well, the first step to fixing a problem is admitting you have one. Once I realized I was saying these filler words constantly, it was easier to stop using them. I also asked my friends and family to point out when I was using them so that I could stop. Having them do that helped a little, but at the end of the day, it's on you. The best way to avoid them is to practice not using them and to practice your presentation in general. There's no shock there. The more comfortable you are with your presentation, the less prone you are to using those filler words, as they are usually used because you are nervous. I hope you all learned how to have a stronger and more memorable presentation by learning about these tips on how to sound better. If nothing else, I hope you learned that practice is one of the most important ways to improve your presentation. Thank you.